Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dragon's Tome. I'm Jack. That's Rob. That's Chopper. And we are going to go through Dragon Magazine. We are on issue 90, October. What year, boys? That's right,
1984.
1984.
84.
Matt's
And
favorite album.
yes,
Might as well jump.
Jump.
um, I can't wait till we get to the year 2112. Then we can really talk about music. Um, we are looking at not a traditional October Halloweeny cover,
It's a harpy.
but it is a good one.
Jeff Bush. I had this issue because I remember this harpy cover. Another one of the early ones before I actually started collecting. I went back, like, I guess probably in, I don't know where I found old Dragon magazines, but it's one of the ones I found.
Oh, harpies.
Oh, harpies.
Oh, harpies. It's a very nice picture, nice and colorful. Harpies
It's
evil.
nice and commercial. I do dig it.
There's no question about the like. There's lots of action. There's lots of harrowing adventure.
Good
This guy's in a lot of
proportions.
trouble.
Yep.
It's covering the it's not just some small image or dark or in the wrong position. It looks like it's actually done for the magazine probably because the dragon is kind of framed nicely in her wings.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you know
don't
what?
know if they've got their because at some point they do take control of the artistic side of the artwork. I don't remember ever hearing the name Bush.
Oh, but I think they still had people doing ones for the magazine, not
Yes.
just random things. He probably was a contributing artist.
I will say I looked at this cover a lot today, and I didn't realize that there was a. I can't tell if that's a harpy in the horizon carrying a guy
Oh
away
yeah,
or just a harpy floating.
no, there's
I
definitely
thought
a
I
guy
thought that
underneath them.
was I thought that was clouds.
No, she's
I
definitely
did
taking
wonder if
someone.
it was, yeah, if it was a harpy carrying someone or if it was just the harpy, like,
I don't see claws on those feet that are just hanging limply. I think that's a
Yeah.
poor sailor.
mm,
Poor sailor.
well. Anywho, that is a quite the lovely cover. Why don't you say who's gonna delve deep first into the meat of this here sandwich?
Well,
Oh, no
you're the host.
volunteers. Okay.
You
Well,
know,
I guess I better
listen.
impose my will
Last
then.
last time we
Yeah,
tried to do
you
a free
yell at us.
will,
Yeah,
you yelled at us and you were screaming about a coup and
I have
Mm,
4 ads, by the way.
You better not. Always when I'm in charge, it becomes a circus.
I have three.
Rob's in charge. It's like
We
a
barely make it through the
Soviet bread
episode.
line. Everyone's
Yeah, that's
queued
right.
up properly. It gets done. It's orderly. Oh no. Okay.
But
Well
nobody's having
then,
fun in the Soviet bread line.
uh, yeah, turnips for everyone. So why don't we start with Rob?
Me. Uh, let's uh,
You.
let's go to page 45.
Ooh, 45.
I didn't read this article
Ooh, yuck.
because I don't want to be spoiled. But it's a D&D adventure in Norse mythology, which I thought was pretty cool. Roger D. Moore wrote it, and a high-level AD&D campaign involving deities, demigods, and
I will.
Norse.
I do want to go on record and saying that this is probably the first time that Rob was excited about a D&D module in a Dragon magazine.
Yeah, it's different because
Probably
we're not just
so
doing
far.
some stupid dungeon like every other time. This is actually cool. Like I say, I didn't read it because I don't want to be spoiled in case I ever play this. But it has actually maps of Jotunheim, and you're fighting frost giants and meeting.
That whole Viking thing is right up your alley, isn't it?
Wow, it's just cool. It's different. This is different. Thank God it's different. But they got nice maps, and yeah, it's fun. It's fun, people, and it's really long. He has
This
actually
is actually,
references.
now that I think about it, this episode or this magazine is kind of right up your alley.
I did own it,
It's a
so maybe that's got some nostalgia in it.
it's a heavy Norse
And there's a
Yeah.
Which are harpies Norse
No, they're Greek.
mythology? No,
Greek.
they're Greek. Yeah. Okay, I'm always looking for a
Yeah,
good tie-in for
really
the
should
cover.
the cover should be more Norse, I would think, after all this. But anyways, yeah. So that's my first.
Maybe it's Norse sailors in the Mediterranean.
Could be.
Could be.
They got everywhere.
Could
Those
be.
guys spread like wildfire.
Well, they never made it to the Mediterranean because they made it to North Africa.
Oh yeah, they made it everywhere. That's the point.
They were everywhere, man.
Man.
They were fighting. What are they called? Skrillex? No, it's something close to that though.
Skrellings?
In North America.
Yes.
So anyways, that was how do you think it? Asher Hammer?
I think an Azer
However you pronounce it, that's that one. From the James Bond himself, Roger E. Moore.
Yes. Okie dokie. Then, young Patrick, why don't you lead us along the garden path here?
Okay, so let's go. I never do these articles, but this one I felt like I needed to. And that's on page 18.
They stole my article, bastard.
But I also just
There's two
prefaced
articles.
No,
there, so
this isn't. Yeah, you didn't steal my article.
let's flip the coin. What, did he steal mine, or did he steal yours, or did he
No,
do
mine's
both?
not on 18. Mine's on. Mine's actually on 20. So
I think I did. I think I did both, Jack. Of course, this time this is the State of the Union address from Mr.
Gigax.
Gygax. Gives a little update, nice update on the cartoon, second season, 8 episodes, blah blah blah. He acknowledges that there was a finished script for the movie, but no one is optioning it. And then he makes the announcements of the release of Masters box set and the start of the Immortal box set coming out. And then he also goes on to say that they are now working on collecting information on a revision of AD&D. So I'm assuming that is the mention of second edition, getting information for second edition.
Well, I think he gets kicked out before then. So
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't know that, and he doesn't know that yet.
Yeah, no, that's the timeline's a little iffy.
yeah, because it gets a little
That I can
chaotic in
think of,
coming
but-
years. It's going to get pretty cray-cray.
Yeah.
So
But I think I also put down a little note here, like, is this also talks about, I think, the state of TSR. That there's a whole, what's the word I'm looking for? A whole monster left out of the Monster Manual too.
oh yeah, I think in the upcoming issues, he actually has to
Yeah.
put up a lot of things that were like, oh yeah, they mentioned this in Monster Manual, but it was never actually in
this
there.
is put in there, and he even talks about their a constant flow of missing items and typos and released things. So
Yeah.
I think this is just starting to show the state of TSR is starting to spiral quickly.
Well, I think there's always typos and stuff. That's people today are like, oh, all these games have typos and like they freak out. It's always been there.
Yeah, I'm not
You
even
can
talking
only-
about typos, but like missing things.
Well, a lot of it was layout issues where they'd lay something out and then something would get cut off and they would just not find it again. They
Yeah.
just disappear.
I've seen references and heard the printer, but it's like, yeah, that's not how that works.
Yeah, it should have been done before the printer even touched it, right?
Now, mind you, there's no such thing as a word processor that you're
there
not
is,
sending
but
digital
yeah, they're not
copies
doing it, yeah.
back and forth. You're not doing it. This just was the state of what it was. If you didn't have the time and or resources and with the technology at the time, that's what you got.
He does mention they're going to include Oriental characters. So Oriental Adventures is coming up, I would
Yeah, that'll
assume.
be coming out too. Yeah,
Because I think Unearthed and then Oriental Adventures. So maybe that's
Yeah.
kind of where the second edition he's talking about is actually all that kind of stuff. So interesting. But yeah, TSR is the storm is a coming. That's all.
it is. It's 100%. I think this is just the state. You know,
Yep.
It's sort of- maybe there's
He's
a
like,
lot of
yeah,
chaos.
it's all good, people. Nothing
Just a
nothing
lot of
wrong here.
chaos. Because I think this is after he comes back from Hollywood.
I would think
living
so
out there.
because isn't that when he was out there? That's when the animated series
The
got
movie.
done. Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
Anywho, well, I suppose it's my turn, and rather than take us very far away from this here page, let's just avert our eyes from the cursor scroll just a little left, just over little bit more, a little bit more. I was reading the magazine and I said, yep, right there. I was reading the magazine and I saw a hold person, definitive list of charmable humanoids. So I read it. I went, okay, someone compiled out of the three manuals that were available so far, which creatures could get charmed. I thought, oh, well, that's a oddly specific. Something must have come up. There must have been a big row. I said, what intern did they have go through all the magazines and compile this list? And under what and then oh no, I think this was yes, Gary Gygax himself had to go through and look and see which monsters and a couple playable characters were charmable. And I thought that it was well below his pay grade, but then thinking about it, I said, well, he's probably making that list for some of the things. Someone says, hey, we have a little space to fill, and he went, okay, here's my notes on this. Here, threw it on the desk. There you go. So if you want to memorize, if you want to memorize the charmable monsters, there it is for you.
I was just I was not paying attention to you, Jack, but I wanted to look up the TSR issues. In 1984, TSR mistakenly tried to trademark the term Nazi for their Indiana Jones game. They put a TM after the word Nazi. So Lucasfilm sued them. Wow. And they're like, no, it was a mistake. It's all right. So they dropped it.
But then how does Lucasfilm have the ability to...
Well, it was in Indiana Jones, so they're probably like, you can't do that. Like,
yeah, so if they licensed the property, and then said, "Oh, we're going to trademark."
That's bad for our brand, so do not do it.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it's not trademark. TM doesn't stand for trademark; it stands for too much.
Too much Nazis.
Too much. Yeah, yeah.
I did
claim ownership over that whole situation. You go right ahead, TSR, but we'd rather not be involved.
Another thing that is at this time, they're having financial issues. The Bloom brothers, and they took out a huge loan, and there's some turmoil going on behind the scenes at this point.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because if you read the book, I forget what it's called now, Kids of Imagination, I think. Yeah, or something like that. This is around that time when there's a lot of turmoil going on in the TSR office.
So it's coming up. The big shakedown is not too far off.
Yep. Gary will have a lot more time on his hands to make lists of charmable monsters.
1985 is when Lorraine Williams comes in. Is it Williams? I think so.
Well, okay, so we're on to second articles now. I think I started with Rob. Rob,
you didn't do your article.
What do you got?
Oh yeah, you did. This was your article. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. that little thing was your article. I forgot. It wasn't a continuation of Pat's article. Mine is going to be just on page 20 here. We're just going to scroll down to Gen Con show was a winner.
Page 20?
Yep.
Or 22?
20. Of the PDF, not of the magazine.
Of the magazine is page 19 or 18. That's why it confused me, but it is page 20. Yeah, I always like checking these Gen Con ones. Gen Con is when this comes out, it might be actually happening or very close to happening. So I think it is actually happening, coincidentally. So I always like checking on this. At this Gen Con was Gen Con 84. Did they say 17?
I went to this one because this is at the university.
Yep, University of Wisconsin Parkside. This is 17. So 8,600 attended, which is about a tenth of today's numbers.
Yeah, 8,600 and one Filipino.
Yes, there you go. 1 hour wait for registration, cut from what used to be 3 to 4 hours, which I'm sure it's back up to at least 3 to 4 hours. I know the lineups at registration now are crazy, and they were saying that that because the lineups are getting so crazy, they're going to do a lot of mail order for this the one in the magazine. And I'm like, yeah, they're still trying that. Getting people to pre-register.
I like how they say in other years it would be a 3 to 4 hour wait. Guess how much long the wait is now?
It's crazy. It's crazy times.
And that's for will call.
That's just to pick up the stuff you already ordered. Yeah. They said trade sales are up in the trade hall. They had so many people in the hall, the dealer's hall, that they had to move some into separate rooms, and they were apologetic to people. They have to move to separate rooms. Nowadays, people pay to be in separate rooms.
Yeah.
Like the big wigs are always in the separate rooms. They had the award show. There's categories were as follows: outstanding board game, Dragon Riders of Pern. We were just talking about that game. If it was any good, Mayfair Games, they actually won, so it must be a good game.
It must be good. So now I have to buy it.
Now you have to buy it.
Now I have to.
No choice.
I have to reacquire it now.
Outstanding role playing game, James Bond 007 game from Victory Games. It's nice. TSR. It's been so far been no TSR there. Outstanding game, open category, Lost Worlds games by Nova Game Designs. Still not TSR. Nova Games Designs also eventually do the BattleTech novels. Here we go. Finally, TSR gets on the board. Outstanding gameplay aid, Ravenloft module. Ravenloft 1 for game aid, play aid.
Ravenloft was a good play aid.
Obviously, it was big. It was different too for TSR to do a gothic horror. Outstanding miniature figure line was Fantasy Lords from Gunnadir. You have some of those, don't you, Pat?
Yeah, we did. We talked about how Games Plus has some for sale still.
Yeah, Fantasy Lords. I remember the boxes. I don't think I ever owned any, but I remember that. I might have owned like a dragon or something from them. And Outstanding Gaming Magazine was Dragon, because really, is there any competition at this time? Nothing
White
that lasts
Dwarf,
that long.
maybe. White Dwarf is probably it at this time.
White Dwarf, yeah. Even then, it was pretty much just doing TSR stuff at this point. So eventually, it'll be a contender, but not yet. But I just thought that was interesting. I like doing the update on Gen Con. So 85, they say it's going to be even bigger in 85.
Yes.
Well, you two will be at Gen Con this year, rocking and rolling. So
shucking and jiving.
Doing your thing.
Yep. Anybody wants to come and say hello?
But
yeah.
Maybe next year.
No.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Pat?
All right, let's just jump ahead 2 pages to 22.
We just keep scrolling.
Oh, bats.
Bats that do more than bite. 6 new bats that Ed Greenwood made up. I thought it was I called it a crazy bat article with some cool bats. Like I like the Night Hunter. Bats. And these are like big bats too. Like some of these are 9 foot, 7 foot.
Have you seen some of the like real bats in real life that are gigantic?
Like the ones. Yeah, like the ones in Australia.
Yeah, just like
crazy as hell.
Yeah, they're like baby sized. It's like, dear God.
Yeah. And so these are these kind of bats. So I like this because it's just more than just giant bats out of the monster manual. Now you get to have. I mean, the werebat.
Well, it says man bat. I think that's copyright. TC's gonna sue somebody.
Yeah.
I wonder if man bat was around yet. I wonder when he was started. It's a question.
Who knows?
Maybe DC has to be sued by somebody.
But I like the Night Hunter bat was really cool, and the Hundar bat was pretty cool also. And the Gloomwing, which was a fey bat. So it was like a fairy bat.
Can we say that? No. I like the Night Hunter's ears. And the Sinister's ears, he looks like a rabbit.
It's true.
He doesn't look very sinister. He looks cute.
So yeah, Ed comes swinging out of the bat with some new monsters. Get it? Comes swinging with the bat.
No, I never got it.
But,
crickets.
Oh.
That was a callback to a show that is totally other podcast. That was good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Ed stepping up like he always does.
Thank you, Ed.
Our good friend Ed. Ed, love your stuff, man.
That Jack is never insulted.
No, never have. Okay, so I guess it comes back around to me. Let's keep strolling along. 32, page 32, if you would mind 32. Playing the political game. This article by Mike Beeman says, hey, you've been in the dungeons. Hey, you've been in the wild.
I don't know if anybody heard that joke. Wait, let me just say, I just made a joke, and I didn't even mean to make the joke. So I hope if you heard that joke, it was quite funny.
And I didn't hear a thing, so...
That's good.
Do you want to...
No. That's an Easter egg. Go ahead, Jack.
Mike Beeman.
Would you like me to say it, Jack, since you missed it?
No. No.
I said,
There's nothing. There's nothing worse than the
it's
common
funny.
Of
roadblock
course.
of a.
This is
We'll
funny.
listen. We'll listen to it
No, it's funny because I didn't realize what I was saying until I said it. Because I was like, hey, it's Mike Beeman, not Seaman, as in Seaman, not Seaman. So then I was like, oh. I made my own joke. I laughed at my own joke.
You will have to send Mike's widow a corsage for besmirching her husband's name post mortem.
I'll send her a horse's head in her bed.
We'll put Mike on the list of past RIP until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
Yes, canonically he has passed, unfortunately. So yeah, this article gives why you should be playing, why you could be playing a political intrigue role playing rather than the wilderness and the dungeon. It gives you a couple of plot scenarios that you could use, that you could, steal whole cloth from the magazine to set up a political intrigue or, an adventure that involves like that kind of malarkey, and then it goes into the different types of political adventures should you want to make your own. And one, like it says military, economic, commercial, like it is a something that today is done all the time, almost almost as much of a go-to as more than a dungeon anymore, I would say. A something with a little more role playing, a little more intrigue. But then he kind of just wraps it up with a revolt, which I think is which, and then he describes all the different ones. So if you wanted to mix up your gaming and you didn't want to use some of his
Are you leading the revolt in this political version of revolt?
Oh, you're revolted against because you're in the politics. So
yeah, I think those he just gives an overview of like what would be involved and who would be involved. But I'm sure. Now I know there's a big push for only good guys, only good players, only good guys in D&D, and so maybe by that very narrow, foolish definition, you wouldn't be the the I don't know, the sinister background worm tongue type who was, gonna overthrow or maybe a regicide or something like that. But yeah, for me. It was very interesting that something that we take for granted now, being a part of role playing games, almost like a standard now. This was a nice little like, hey, let's try this, guys. So yeah,
Dig it.
it was
Can
it
you
was
dig it?
swell. And good article and a good joke about Mike's last name. So
I could have
that
said
was my
amen.
last article.
I could have said he's
So
amen.
why don't we go to ads?
No, I got two more articles.
Now, how's that possible? Because the show's format is two
I don't know
articles,
which kind of format you think it is.
one ad.
The format was 4 articles, 5 ads.
Hmm.
Set down by you, if I remember correctly.
No, that is all a fabrication. That is all a lie.
So we're going to page 86.
Oh, all right. Now I only got one more article left now.
Oh, you're going to do Gen Con, the Game Fair report?
Yeah.
This is the sci-fi version of Gen Con. I was doing it because I did the other Gen Con. I thought I would just continue on. So a lot of sci-fi stuff was released at Gen Con. I did not know this, but TSR made a 2010 movie adaptation RPG based on Star Frontiers. Didn't know that existed.
Yeah.
Crazy. Time Master was released by Pacesetter. FASA's Last Starfighter license. Once again, I don't know if they actually did anything with it.
And they released the Star Trek 2, the combat simulator, like we showed in that one ad with all the things out.
Yes. Chaosium makes Ringworld RPG. So the Chaosium's getting into more RPGs. And West End Games, famous for eventually Star Wars, but they do Paranoia. Paranoia, classic
Yep.
game. So
Yep.
all released this year at Gen Con. So anything else you have to say about this, Pat? I just wanted a list of all the stuff that was being released.
No, I just wanted to say it was good. Shout outs to Marvel, Star Frontiers, Star Trek.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
I wish they did this more with actually showing what was released each year, because that's very interesting to me
Yeah.
personally.
I found it interesting too because then you see where the games come from or when they're released and
And you're like, yeah, you get
how they
this
were
isn't
received.
yeah, this is even out yet. That's why I like the reviews too. You're like seeing reviews of old games that never knew existed. But anyways, that was my quickie. My second article, that was, Jack. Don't worry, that was only my second article.
That was a continuation of your second article. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
see?
then, Pat, what do you have for an ad?
For a second
Uh,
article
I have
continuation.
for my second article. I have page 80.
Hey, this
Now we
is
come.
familiar.
Now we come to the actual mega corporations. It lists.
This is the throwback to, this is a continuation article last month or last week,
Yes,
Jack. So that
from
counts.
last week. So this now in the first part of my last article.
This isn't
So
even a good
confused.
article. I was reading this going, oh my God.
Well,
They,
if you
they thought the spacefaring races of this brave new world of the future and the biggest commodity was going to be steel. I was like, oh my God, who's Kim? Your imagination needs
well, you
needs a
think
little
it should have
goose.
been unobtainium? Is that what you think it should have been?
Unobtainium. Steel, very hard to find.
And that's how you make steel.
Uh, but these are a list of all the different corporations. Not all of them, but it's a nice list to get started with in your campaign if you need to use any of these. Uh, there's even a triad corporation.
The Capellan Free Merchants. That's interesting.
Yeah, I
That's,
saw that and I was like, oh, huh.
That's interesting. I wonder
Yeah.
if that's where BattleTech gets it from.
It's pretty. They give lists where the headquarters are at and who's the CEO and any subsidiary. So it gives you enough information for you to put your Star Frontiers campaign in order.
Yeah, if you need just some, I thought it said Texas Instruments, but it's Tacton Instruments. Anyways, if
Yes.
you just need some random corporation to be an enemy or to hire your guys or something, this is a nice
Yeah.
quick list.
And it's not steel, it's streel, by the way.
It's the same thing. They're given executive names and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess maybe, I guess so.
NPCs.
Little bit of fluff.
NPCs, yeah.
Meh. Okie
He
dokie.
hated
Well,
that article.
Yeah. Well, he just hated it because it was more than two.
I'm going to go on to my ad.
Do you have another article, Jack?
So, no, I did my two.
Oh, I have another article. On page
What?
8. Page 8 is the forum. It's the where people just go off on things. But Jack, you like this one because this guy goes off on falling damage math. And he goes crazy.
There's three of them.
Yeah, I
All
know.
of them go off on, because there was two articles in that last magazine that had the falling damage.
Yep.
And I don't know how it's possible because math should be people go, no one was right.
Yeah.
It's a wild west of
Well,
math nerds.
Jeff Martin, no. Jeff Martin's on my side. He's just like, it's supposed to be a game, not a simulation. Screw this stupid math stuff. The other two
Yes.
make fun of the system's damage, where you could literally trip and die. And another one goes even deeper into the math, and he just goes like Jack said, he just goes way into the math. And yet another guy says that the first guy was unscientific. It's like, what? Which it makes sense though, because he's like, potential energy doesn't equal damage. It's hitting the ground that equals damage. It matters what you land on. You land on feathers, you're fine. You land on concrete, you're dead. Like.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter how far you fall or what you fall. It's what you land on.
Yeah. It was when we covered it, it was a bizarre thing that much energy was put into creating tables and stuff for falling damage. And I myself was like, no one's going to pay attention to this. And I was wrong.
Well, these people
I
pay
was wrong
attention to get
because
angry about it.
multiple people, and some of them were like, "Well, no, there's an error in the math here, and you have to use this as the." And I'm just like, "Oh, some people
Simple
really did.
carrot, yeah.
Some people really cared." So
Well, you can never know what people are into. We might think it's stupid and we might make fun of it, but other people are like, yeah, that's my jam. So
a meticulously detailed math equation does nothing for me, but yeah,
well, I think the one person does say he plays with a bunch of mathematicians at a university, so I think that is their thing. So
Yeah.
right.
And that was the point I made. I think this would be great for people who are math nerds.
yeah,
Nerds.
well, that's all my articles. Pat, do you have any more articles?
Nope. I did my two, like Jack
Oh
said.
yeah, me too. So it's good. We're right on schedule.
Okay, well then, how about I start with my ad, and then we go around to the two of you.
Sure,
Okay.
sounds good.
So if we could go to page 99, we're gonna go deep.
99. Oh,
Oh,
this
We're
was
gonna
one
go
of my. This was one of
that's
my
one of
ads. So
mine
you
too.
cut you
balls
cut down
deep
one of my
into
ads.
this paranoia.
West
Only
End
played this,
Games.
I think, maybe twice.
I think I played at a tournament actually one time, like at a convention.
I think I might have as well,
I
and I
played
know I played
it.
it a couple more times.
Yeah, I
It's
think I
it's
maybe
a,
played about 4 or 5
it's a
times.
ridiculous game.
I loved it. But
Oh,
my
it's funny.
only problem is no one wanted to GM Paranoia after our couple of plays. So it kind of died on the vine for us.
Pretty much, you have. I like the idea that you just have so many clones because you keep dying, so you just have another clone pops up.
Yes.
I think that's funny.
Uh, yes. So I don't know if it holds any like sway nowadays. But for a while there, that was like it, it it had a lot of pull in the gaming. Like a
As a,
lot of people played it, but
yeah,
it
as a
was
humor role playing game.
as a good alternative to crunchy role playing. And yeah, so brand new, and
Look, a
I
nice
think
nice ad right off the bat, like a nice full color ad. The book looks really nice. Like you can tell the production quality is far away from those original games we saw from other people. Where we're like, wow, this looks terrible.
Yes.
and we saw they won an award, so
That's right. Once again, I think it's a fresh take on role playing. It's to be like totally humorous. Like I don't think there's been anything like this yet. So I think it was a
yeah,
trendsetter.
you can bitch and moan about alignment and why this doesn't work and why it can't work, and even though it does work, and or
Yeah.
you can be responsible for squeegeeing out the kill room, and everyone thinks maybe you're the traitor and presses the red button. Like
Yep.
it really puts into perspective how fun is supposed to be the name
Or
of the game.
or the computer just might just kill you because
Yeah, yep. Yeah, so that was my ad, Paranoia.
nice.
So who do I go to next? I think let's go in ascending order of
Handsomeness?
I'm trying to be funny, but cruelty came to mind, and I thought I can't. Let's not do that. Let's keep this. Pat, why don't you do yours?
All right. So let's go to page 9.
Hey, this is one of mine too.
X and Allies,
Yeah.
the Milton Bradley Game Master Series, start of the first of
Beginning
5.
Axis and Allies.
Yes,
We played
and I
the
have
hell out of this game.
and I have all 5 of these Milton Bradleys, like even first edition ones before they changed. So it's the old X and Alley map that only has the 2 blown up maps on it. You know, Hawaii and Alaska. But yeah, these were all great games. You know, Axis and Allies came out, then I think it was Conquest of the Empires or Broadsides and Boarding Parties after that. And then I guess we call it Season 2, Fortress America and Shogun came out after that. And these are all downstairs in my basement.
Yeah, we played a lot of Axis and Allies back in the day.
Yeah, it was a game. And I think it's the only one that kind of took off out of the 5.
Well, there's a lot of different versions of it too. Eventually,
Yeah.
And it's not even really a great game,
It
but
isn't.
it was the it's what it there
A
was.
tactical World War II game. That's there's not much choice.
That was
yeah.
kind of approachable. That
Oh, we
was
had
kind
a
of
what? Didn't we have a like a Pacific War version too?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. And then we had a map that I had printed up that was like for both, so you could play both at the same time
Yeah.
in one. Yeah,
And it took
again,
forever to play too. We would
not
be
a
like
great game.
days, like the whole weekend we'd be playing this stupid game.
Oh yeah, days upon days.
And you would within the first 5 or 6 turns,
You'd
you
know
would
who's
know,
going to win, but you just it's attrition
and it
until
was
the
like,
end.
okay, yeah,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we played a lot of Axis and Allies, but
Yep.
I would have thought it was older than this, but this is when it came out, 84.
okay.
All right, that's it.
So last but not least, why don't you bring it home?
I have 2 more ads, but my first other ad is going to be on page 35. It's a very bottom of the page on 35. It's DC Heroes role-playing game, Superpowers, the new Teen Titans. This is Mayfair Games once again, and yeah, I remember at one UBCon in Buffalo, I loved the dealer hall because on like Sundays they would just get rid of stuff. It was so cheap, and I think for like $10 I bought like every DC Superheroes product to that point. So I had like a pile of DC Superheroes. I don't know if I actually played the game, but it was really cool to have them. But that's what I remember about DC Superheroes. They had a cool Who's Who kind of supplement, which had all the characters in it, which I liked a lot because I liked looking through the characters. But this is the beginning of another superhero role-playing game in the genre. It's being inundated with superheroes. So they saw Marvel, and they had to be like DC had to get their little fingers in there. So that's it.
I'm just glad that they've stopped just taking properties and slapping their names on stuff to sell. You know,
That's right. It just never happens anymore.
I'm glad that's been kiboshed.
Yeah. I'm glad it just does not happen anymore.
Sure.
No, I'm sure it was a fine game, and I remember the superpowers, like because that was in the '80s. Was it either a toy line, or it was where the comics? It was like the New 52 type thing, they name an era. I remember Superpowers, and that was a heyday for
Superpowers,
DC
yeah, named
Comics.
after the cartoon of the same name.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, so it was this would have been the time to get in on DC property.
Sure. All right. I guess we'll take over the show. Jack's frozen.
Yes. Okay.
And that
Who's
was
next?
DC Superheroes. Anybody else have any more
Yes.
ads?
I have one more.
What page?
89. And it's not even really an ad.
Oh, it's in the Gamer's Guide.
Gamer's Guide. So remember earlier when we first noticed Gamer's Guide, we said, we're just putting all the ads now?
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be the new ad corner?
It is.
And it officially is now, because in the top left-hand corner, you get prices and a price guide. How much is it going to cost to advertise in the Gamer's Guide?
1 inch.
1 inch.
No, what is it? Why is that more
It's
expensive?
That's the one by.
What's that mean?
Columns
Is that-
per inch.
Is it
It's per column inch,
so you get the whole column for 1?
I guess. Payment is Gamer Guide must be
So
for
it's
2 to 5 inches of column length. So per column inch, I guess the more column inches you have, the cheaper it is. So 1 column length is $60. 6 is 50 by, but 12 is 49.
I don't know how advertising works, but
So it seems that's what it
we
reads
should
like to
put
me.
an ad in Dragon Magazine. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well,
So
we could take this PDF, we could
Edit it.
Photoshop it, and yeah.
there you go.
We should just start doing that. Just Photoshop things into the PDF as we're like talking about them and not mention it.
We'll put the Dragon's Tome in there somewhere.
We just have like
Okay. Well, then, is that it? Is everyone done for
Uh,
today?
no, on page 31. I don't know if we talked about this yet. Have we? The
31 or
Okay,
51?
so for an
31
ad, we've had a pricing guide, and what are we going to get over here for another ad? We get
companion
oh,
rules. Did
I
we
think
have
we
the,
did talk about
we
this.
have talked
the
about this.
companion rules? Yeah, coming out.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a nice full color ad with a crown and a lightning bolt. I don't think we had
And,
this ad.
and there's a Schward underneath it.
And a sword.
It looks like it was attacked by a rust monster.
But the box sets are coming out hot and heavy. Like Pat said, the other two are coming soon. So that's all my
This
ads.
is-
Anybody?
other
is
than
the-
the red one, this is the most iconic. That color, that teal color,
Teal,
that
yes.
picture.
Really?
this
See,
is a-
the one that burns itself in my memory is the red and blue one. The basic and expert.
I remember
But-
the immortal one because it was gold.
Yeah. Well, at this point, though, I'd already moved on. It was just full blown in AD&D.
yeah,
We were playing
I think
AD&D too.
yeah. Okie dokie. Well then, that seems to be the end of the ads. We have to close this thing out, bring it to its final.
Bring it to its heels, baby.
It's Final Destination.
Yes, yes. So if you're driving right now behind a truck full of logs, just don't. Anyways, so this has been the Dragon's Tome. We will see you next week. See you later. Bye bye.
Arrivederci.
And I'm Rob. Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe.
Touch my
Comment
bells and
below.
whistles.
And
Touch Jack's bells.
for the Dragon's
Down there.
Home, I've been Jack.
Bye bye.